using AI to perfect customer responses and quotes. Before we get into writing customer emails or quoting services, we need to talk about something that most business owners skip, and that is your tone of voice. Because in business, how you say something is just as important as what you say. Whether you're calm and consultative, bold and direct, or warm and casual, your tone helps define your brand. AI can match your tone, but only if you tell it how. And that starts with creating a prompt that defines the way you want your business to sound in customer communications. This becomes your reference prompt. You can reuse it anytime you need to respond to a customer or generate a quote. You can build it into a custom GPT or even write it directly into your account preferences. After this lesson, you'll be able to write a reusable prompt that captures your customer-facing tone of voice. You'll be able to use AI to write polished email responses and fast, accurate quotes. You'll be able to adjust the tone, detail, and clarity for different kinds of clients. And then, of course, save your brand's tone of voice prompt in a library or use it in a custom GPT. Let's build your tone of voice prompt. This is how you train the AI to write like you or your brand. Start with simple instructions in a prompt template like this. You're a professional writing assistant for my business. Your job is to write customer emails and proposals in my brand voice. Here's how I want that to sound. And then you want to fill in details that match your specific brand. For example, the tone. It might be friendly but professional, confident but not salesy, clear and calm. Remember, this is your tone. Change it to how it fits you. Best practices for your industry. For example, you may want to say, hey, avoid jargon. Always exclude text in next steps. Never blame the customer. Now, remember, we're going to talk about in a moment how to write emails to your customer, so you may want to say, never blame the customer. And then do nots. Don't overpromise. Don't use buzzwords like synergy or innovative solution. You know your industry, so you know what words you do and do not want to use, so include those. So once you put it all together, this is your complete prompt. It has your professional writing assistant for my business. It has full instructions, including the tone, best practices for my industry, and the do nots. Okay, so now how and where do you use this prompt? You can use it as a one-off. In other words, you have it in your prompt library, so you can just copy it from your prompt library and you can paste it as you begin individual chat conversations or tasks. Or you can have a custom object. In different programs, they have different names. For example, in OpenAI, it's called a custom GPT. In Gemini, it's called a gem. You could store your prompt for your tone of voice in that object. Or at an account level, you could use the personalization stored at the account level to apply that to your account so that no matter what you do in that account, that tone of voice applies throughout all your conversations. Earlier in the course, we showed you how to create a custom GPT, but now I'm going to remind you again how to do it at an account level. This is in OpenAI's ChatGPT. If I click on my account and go to personalization, you'll see I have custom instructions. These are my tone of voice instructions that apply to my entire account. No matter what I do in my account, these instructions apply. My choice to speak is I prefer straightforward sentences that convey my ideas clearly, no unnecessary embellishment, and it goes on to say my vocabulary is balanced. Now, I should tell you this too. The way I got to this is I examined some of my existing writing, things that I wrote organically myself. I had that writing examined and to find out how do I write. And I was told that I write in this manner. So I use that response saying that I provide practical, actionable insights as a way to make my own tone of voice. So this is based on my actual writing. Then I add some additional things in here to say things like, don't start paragraphs with introduction phrases like in a world or in today's world, in these times. I also said, don't use em dashes. Now, models are getting better at not doing that, but I think it's good to still put in any kind of punctuation or phrases that you do or do not want to use. So that's in the personalization of ChatGPT. All the different programs have this at an account level, so you can choose whether to do it one-off or if you want to do it at an account level. Now, let's use our custom voice and our tone of voice to respond to a customer email. Here's the prompt we'll start with. Using my writing style instructions, write a reply to this customer email. We do not provide refunds. This is the conversation we're having. She will not be billed after this month. Please be professional, helpful, keep it under 200 words. Here's the customer's email to me. Now, I'm pasting in the customer's email that was sent to me. It's important here, though, to be sure to redact or remove any maybe names or dollar amounts, anything that's private. You don't want to send any of this information to an AI company, so you should change or remove any names, okay? So now going into ChatGPT, we have a couple of choices here. We can start a conversation by pasting in our tone of voice that we wrote earlier. If this were a custom GPT or if it was in our brand, we wouldn't have to, but let's just say this is a fresh conversation. We're going to paste in our tone of voice. This is our entire tone of voice. Now, we have that in there. We have instructions on what you are and who your role is and what you're going to write. And then after that, we'll use it to add in below that the instructions for crafting this email response to our customer. I'm going to paste in the prompt that explains that using my writing style instructions that I actually have above in this same chat, write a reply to the email, explain that we don't provide refunds, helpful, keep it under 200 words. Here's the customer's email to me. I'm reaching out because I no longer need the service I purchased. This is from the customer. I only use it for a short time and my plans have shifted. I'm hoping to find out if it's possible to receive a refund for the remainder of the month. Now, if you're in a service business, you already know where this is going. You may want to say something that's not the kindest thing. ChatGPT or your AI will help you reframe your words to kindly respond to this customer, because remember, you told it to respond in a certain way. It has the facts now. So let's just hit return and see what kind of email we get as a response to this scenario. Hi, name. Thanks for reaching out. I'm glad you let us know about the change in your plans. Your subscription will not renew, and you won't be billed again after the current month. We're not able to offer refunds or partial periods. You'll continue to have a full access through the end of the billing cycle. If there's anything you'd like help with wrapping up before the subscription ends, I'm here to support you. Please feel free to reach out. So this is a kind email. You've saved a lot of time because you've not had to think about how do I position this response, and you can just freely tell your AI what your goal is, and it's going to respond in your tone of voice with a kind response, and it can be consistent not only for you each time, but also across your team to respond to your customers in a consistent and kind way. Okay, now I'm going to remain in this same chat because this chat already knows my writing style. And our next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a quote for the customer. And to create the quote, we already know what the conversation we had with the customer was, or we know our services and our pricing. So I'm going to paste in a prompt here that says, using my writing style instructions, create a clear and easy to understand quote document for the installation of a ceiling fan. Be professional, helpful, keep it under 200 words. Here's what the quote consists of. These are like from your notes talking with the customer or from your pricing list, for example. The ceiling fan that the customer chose is a traditional bronze style that costs $200. I'll install the fan for a rate of $250 and will require an extra extension on the fan. So these are just details about what you would charge for your individual pieces. These are things you may have had in a conversation. Maybe you recorded the conversation and transcribed it. But this is the data about the conversation, and the system already knows your writing style. So now give it the information and let it design a quote for you. So let's see what we get here. Here's your quote: materials, labor, total for planned work. And so this is a great email. It breaks down the summary of what you plan to charge. You could also have this stylized. So let's say, now I don't have our styles written in here already yet. So let's just give it an idea. We'll say, prepare a PDF document to send to the customer with this quote. Format it in a style that looks like a formal quote document. All right. So Different platforms have different capabilities, but most of them can create a document or a PDF. So now it's taking this information and it's going to format it in a PDF style. And there I have it. I have a link that I can click to download it. So let's click it and see what it looks like. All right, so here's our PDF. It looks okay, but it's not something I want to send to a client, right? You want to have maybe your branding, or you want better spacing so it looks more like a formal quote. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, so I've clicked here and I've added a logo in ChatGPT and I said, give this document a style. Use the attached logo at the top. Frame all of the quote amounts in tables and give it a spaced out official look. Now, those are kind of vague instructions, but let's just see what we get, because now it has a logo. It knows that it needs to be more official. So let's see what we get here. It's analyzing it. And then in a moment, we should have a more stylized PDF. Now, I've done this with my own company, and I actually use my own logos, my own colors. So over time, you can actually make it look in a way that's consistent, and you can make a quote that you can print out each time, and it looks great for your brand. So let's see what we got here. Here's your style quote, and it's ready. So let me click on that and see what it looks like. Wow, that's much better. We have the logo, we have the table. This is something you could print out and hand to a customer or email them as a PDF. So we've gone from a conversation or some notes with a customer to getting a formalized quote written down for us. Now, once you've done this once and you have the prompt saved, this can be done in a matter of seconds and be ready to send back to the customer. Once you even in the phone call with them, type in those notes, boom, you got this ready to send back out to them nice and formal. No software, no databases other than just your AI. And you've saved tons of time and you look very professional. So let me talk to you a moment about how to get the most out of your prompts as you update them over time to get better results. Always remember, the more context you give your prompt, the better the output. So start by telling AI what role it's playing. Say, for example, you're a business owner writing to a potential client. Also, maybe what tone do you use? Use your tone of voice prompt. Use the one that you designed for your tone of voice. And then what are the customer's needs? They ask about a package or a turnaround time. Think about what the customers told you so you can actually reflect that back in your writing style. What not to include. There may be things you always want to include or not to include, like don't mention discounts unless the customer asks for one. If you don't give these kind of instructions, these things may creep into your writing. And then finally, this is a great one. Have the AI ask you questions. In other words, while it's working through writing your ideal email, you might say in the prompt, before you write the email, before you begin writing, ask me 3 questions, one at a time, about this situation, this customer, how I want to approach this email. That way, any little nuances or questions about how it should be written are hashed out before AI begins writing the email for you. All right, once you've written a few great replies or quotes, save the prompt that got you there. Store it in your prompts library under customer communication or pricing. If your AI software of choice allows it, consider storing a pre-made prompt in an object like a custom GPT with your style of writing built in. That way you never have to re-explain your tone, it just knows. And as your business evolves and your skills in AI evolve, revisit and refine your prompts. These tools are improving constantly, especially in the area of reasoning. You may find that what took 3 steps last month now takes only 1. Let's quickly recap what you've learned. You've learned how to start by writing a tone of voice prompt that defines how you want to sound to your customers. You've learned how to use that prompt as a base when replying to emails or creating quotes. You learn how to give AI plenty of context, what you do, who you're talking to, and what you want to avoid. You learn how to tweak the response and not settle for the first draft. Now you can save what works and build on it. Now it's your turn to take action. Write your tone of voice prompt and save it. Then use that prompt to respond to a real customer email or generate a quote. Keep what works, tweak what doesn't. And remember, great AI starts with great inputs, and that starts with you.